Welcome to the show. Thank you. Our little picture today, it's from Kua in chat. You like it? Hi. Okay, so I'm Devin. Let's do the necessary stuff first. The necessary stuff. First of all, we have a Discord. It's right there. Check it out. Discord.gg/Malixia, which is my old Twitch name. If you join that, in the general chat every Wednesday, we have a talk about D&D, and you will be able to interact with me live on the show and get special information that you wouldn't otherwise know. Woo! That's cool, right? I'm in Rhyme Town right now. It's going down. Okay. Let's not be clowns. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to do a recap, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm a little bit stressed from the last 10 minutes of that show. It seems like Koibu knows all my triggers. One of them being save or die spells. I really fucking hate save or die spells. A recap of the episode. There's actually not that much to talk about with this episode. We didn't actually do much as far as story progression, even though a lot happened. I don't know if that makes sense. We started off by fleeing the town of Fortune and going to a town called Copperhill. And then there was a pretty big argument where everybody kind of tried to decide two things. One was what are we going to do next? Because we just sort of torched our options for going forward and find out what is all about this crown and Philosopher's Stone. Everybody got into a pretty big argument. And for a while, there was this big discussion about who was going to lead the party and what was going to happen. And then kind of everybody in the middle of it sort of was maybe Gerald would be a good person to talk to. And so Gerald got talked to, and there's a lot of arguing back and forth, and everyone's trying to figure it out. And there was no really good answer. So finally, everybody decided on a rotating, I think that's where we're at right now, is a rotating party where it'll be Locke 1 week, and then Barbo another week, and then Lily another week, or Midori another week. And so we decided on that. And then I guess we decided on doing two things. So Locke and Gerald went to go talk to a gastromancer cook named Yoris, who is also the mayor, the newly elected mayor of Copperhill. Meanwhile, Barbo and Lily went to go talk to a thief who joined in a raid on a town in Fortune. Gerald and Locke didn't get very far. They didn't learn much information, save that there is a wizard airship that's floating around. How cool is that? There's a wizard airship floating around that flies around and has some special powers that you can go learn information from, that anybody that can actually get to it can go to. And other than that, they learned that maybe that would be the next step in their plan. But Midori and Barbo came away with a lot more useful information. They learned that a pack of were-rats was hired to raid a mansion of Count Vicious at the same town of Fortune which the party had just fled. And the were-rats raided the mansion and stole some stuff. They actually came away with an item of great value, but nobody knows what it was. So left with those decisions, the party decides to go back to Fortune and investigate the manor. And after some difficult climb checks to get into the keep, managed to get into the keep and avoid any kind of conflict until they came across the main door, which was a door opening into a treasury room. And so we unlocked that door with a quick knock spell and immediately got assaulted by a team of 8 gargoyles. Fought those guys off pretty well. I got to try out some new spells, and then we were doing okay until half the party just died on a saving throw from a Banshee that is totally balanced in D&D 5e. Super balanced ability. Really great ability in D&D. So just half the party just falls over because that's great. And we used those, I guess. I tilted off the face of the earth at that point. I was just I was so mad. And then the party wouldn't stabilize. So there was a really good chance that Gerald could have died there. There were 2 1 in 20 chances that he could have died, but he didn't. So we're back. And that was the recap episode of what happened in episode 14. So the party is alive. They are now resting in the vault, the treasury room, and we are going to get to see what the loot is. It's supposedly piles of gold and stuff like that. And that's what happened in this episode. Did you use prestidigitation to change the votes on the piece of paper? I talked about doing it in my Discord. I did not change it. I did not cast the spell. I almost thought about casting the spell. I did not cast the spell. We could talk about that real quick. So there was like a big push by Twitch chat to make Gerald the leader, which is surprising because usually I'm the least liked person on the show. Most of the time, most of the emails you guys send me and everything is just the worst. Absolutely terrible. It actually is difficult for me. I get a lot of negative feedback. So I was really surprised to see people wanting to have Gerald be the leader for a while. But the truth is that there's no way that Gerald should ever be the leader of this party because out of character, like I'm just gonna make like the optimal decisions to like follow the storyline, and it's not going to be like the hype. Like it's Mutin and Midori and Steven that bring you the hype, right? Like they're like I just try to be a fun part of the show that I hope I add some value, but it's absolutely them. And like one of them, like, and I think when Mutin and I were talking about it in the break of the show, we decided it's like, oh, it should really probably be Midori. It would make the most sense and also still bring the hype of the show. Like the thing is, like Twitch chat thinks that they that they want me, but you don't want me. And I know you. I know you all. I've streamed for 6 years, and the moment that the dogs are hungry, I know you'll come for me. So I flat refuse to lead the party just on the basis that I don't want to deal with the community. It's literally just that. Yeah. So I just get too much hate. I just don't want to deal with it. I get enough even just being on the show. But I do appreciate some of the love in the chat. That was the first time that ever happened, so that was awesome. Thank you, guys. It was really cool. No, I couldn't have silenced it or anything like that, and Arcane Deflection is only a 9 DC, so I just died. I rolled a dice and I died. That was all it was. I think that was a great show. I'm glad that we're still alive. I'm surprised that we're still alive. I guess we're constantly surprised that we are not TPKing every single time. It's totally crazy. It's actually a really hard campaign. I do think it's important to have like kind of like more RP heavy and discussion heavy episodes. And that like the discussion heaviness, we still got some combat at the end, but the discussion heaviness of that show and that character development really showed like every character, and every character kind of got to shine in their own way in the first part of the show. And that was really good. Are you going to take your turn leading? Nope. I will default it to the next person. Didn't you have Counterspell? Ooh, I don't think Counterspell, I think it's an effect. So I don't think that Counterspell would have done it. That was pretty much, yeah, it's a monster ability, so I'm pretty sure it's not a spell, so I don't think I could have Counterspelled it. That was literally just a save or die. So that was, as much as I shout out Koibu a lot, and I guess there are some things we disagree with. I really hate those abilities. I think that's it's really shit for parties to play against that most of the time. But Koibu is the best DM on the planet, and you should support him at Koibu0, patreon.com. I still love him. He runs this full time, and he does a great storyline, and his living, breathing world of Arcadia is amazing. So definitely do support him, even if I disagree with him with that small thing. That's totally fine. Koibu is a super baller, man, and he's amazing. What would have happened if everyone failed to roll? Yeah, Mutin literally asked that after the show, and Koibu just said the whole party would have died. So imagine that. Like, we're at episode 14. We've come all this way. The Banshee Whales, everyone dies. Just bad rolls, everyone dies. That's the end of the show. Okay, see you later. Like, how is that gonna... It's like, that could have actually happened there. That's why I have a huge problem with save or die stuff. Do you think we're gonna make it out alive with all that loot? I don't know. We've made it out alive so far. Is the Mutin Destiny relationship impacting the roleplay of the game? What relationship? They're friends. Everything that happens in character, we all like each other out of character. There's nothing going on there behind the scenes. How trapped do you think the loot is? Fairly trapped, Miss Catherine. Fairly trapped. What is your plan to get the loot? When does Gnomes, Tomes, and Catacombs ever have a plan? Would you all be planning on continuing if you end up TPKing? I don't know. Probably not. Why did you vote for yourself? If I could go back, I would vote for Midori. I voted for myself because I was nervous and didn't really know what to do. I had already told the party out of character that I was going to refuse leadership. But I didn't want to sway the vote in any one direction. I knew no one else would vote for me. So I knew I wasn't going to win so I just like wanted to cast a neutral vote. What I should have done was like cast nothing. It would just say nothing, right? Just say like, I'm not going to vote. But I was stressed. Like, it was just like, I didn't like really want to make the decision. Gotta wait for Gerald to wake up and Tenzer's disc that out of there. I think if we Tenzer disc 500 pounds of loot a disc out of the keep, maybe the guys in the town might notice. They're like, that's kind of weird, huh? Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of messed up stuff that Koibu has planned. They're definitely not going to give us infinite money Do you think Gerald would want to lead the party in character? I don't think so. He's like a kind of, I mean, I have a good enough out of character reason to metagame myself out of it in character or whatever. But like the in character reason is like he's an easygoing guy. He's really friendly. Just wants to go with whatever makes people happy and like isn't like very much of like a leader on his own. Just because like there's no reason for me to lead the party. You have like a guy that used to be a captain of a ship. That's like a leader, right? Like he captained a whole crew of people. You have a noble, like a lord, right? That is like has like a family who's like born from the beginning to be a leader. And you have like a death cleric who, I mean, I don't know what like Midori's qualifications would be to be a leader, but clerics are typically like leaders of congregations or like leaders, and then like that's like that like makes a lot of sense. And then you have like Gerald, who's like a gnome from the caves. And like the gnome is just like comes out of a hole and is like, hey guys, like that's not a leader. He's just a dude. If people don't like you, why not take a risk such as becoming leader to possibly take action to get more audience on your side? Have you been on Twitch TV before ever? We made it, guys. We're going to episode 15. Holy, we did it. And yeah, it was a good episode. It was fun. We all got to level 6 too, which is great. Gerald switched to the War Magic School. I was like thinking for a whole week about if we should switch from War Magic to Evocation and which one we should do. And I came up with like Evocation was the stronger ability, but the War Magic was what I wanted to play. And we immediately saw War Magic. Like War Magic had so many applications immediately in that fight, right? I got to go first, so I got to CC like half the group. Although I legitimately just made a big misstep. Like I legitimately just broke a concentration spell because all my experience in D&D is in 2E, so I don't remember like the concentration stuff. It just failed, like just completely failed. And I cast a spell that broke CC on my own ability, like pulling the EverQuest 1 memes where I break my own CC as an enchanter. And and then woke up the other 2 gargoyles. Other than that, though, the level 6 was good because we picked up Hypnotic Pattern and Thunderstep, which I haven't gotten to use, but is a really cool spell. It's going to be really fun later. Evocation is hardcore damage school, and War Magic is great all around in combat. Yeah, it was definitely a tough choice. Haven't been following the campaign super closely. How frequently did you use illusion spells? Pretty frequently stalled. The problem was with illusion is that I can pretty much cast once. I can take an action to end the action economy of one creature for one turn, which is like pretty good at low level, but then like later on doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because you want to end the action economy of like multiple people. It's like with Hypnotic Pattern, we had they have to beat a DC of 16, and we had 3 gargoyles roll, sorry, I'm getting like super analytical here. We had like 3 gargoyles roll 16, 17. So they actually passed, but 3 gargoyles CC'd, and it should have been more. So like for Gerald to take 1 round and end the action economy for 5 creatures is super good, right? But 1-to-1 is not as good of a ratio. And I'm looking for like 2-to-1, like 3-to-1, like every round. So that's why illusions are not great. Also, the 5e illusion spells are just like not too exciting because the campaign we're running is going to end before they get powerful, right? If you look at the School of Illusion, it's not that cool because improved minor illusion, okay, like you can do sound and images. We had some fun with that. And then you can shape your illusions to be like, to change the nature of them. And that's kind of neat. But then like the real power of the abilities come at like 14th level when you can literally just like change reality. Like you're just a god, right? We're never going to hit that in Koibu's campaigns. Koibu's never had a 14th level anything in his campaigns. And so that's never going to happen. So I thought, and I didn't want to go the whole path of the gods because I think Muten and Midori are already doing that well. So I didn't want to like just like, I have a god too. You know, I wanted to like do something different. So I'm deciding to like progress in like schools of magic. It's like kind of a cool way to progress Gerald along. Could you have just recasted the Hypnotic Pattern? I could have, yeah. I could have. That would burn another 3-slot spell, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. Do you think there's spell books in the treasure room? Woo! I hope so. We'll see. But at this point, I don't really need them. There's actually not much to progress Gerald. Like with the other, we pretty much have everything we want. I mean, at this point, I'm just running into a problem with like I just can't prepare all the spells that I need. Right? Where did we put Gnomes, Tomes, and Catacombs? So like right now, like Gerald's spellbook is savage, dude. I mean, I can pretty much kind of do anything I want. Hypnotic Pattern and Fireball give me like a lot of versatility in this range. Counterspell is always great. Haste is great when I have it prepared. Tiny Hut is like busted. And then over here, like I think like Web is like a really useful ability. So like there's not many spells that I have. I have them written down in my show notes. The only spells I'm really looking to pick up now are Sleet Storm, Comprehend Languages, just a little easy level 1 spell, Mirror Image, and Flaming Sphere. And I don't even know when I would actually use those. I think Gerald's pretty much like maxed out and is not really going to get a significant increase in power until maybe level 7. And even then, it's not going to be that great because you only get 1 spell slot for your 4th level spells. But that 1 spell slot, woo boy, we're probably going to take Polymorph. Just make Locke into a big old T-Rex. Banishment is a strong one there too. Can you ever be so strong in D&D you can become a god? Oh yeah. If a GM would say you can metagame as much as you want, but I won't take it easy on you, could you make it far? I mean, that's exactly what campaign we're running, right? Yeah, I think Illusion is one of those things that looks really powerful on paper, but in practice, just doesn't work out. Yeah, Hypnotic Pattern, I think, is maybe the strongest spell in 5e. Like realistically, one of the strongest spells in 5e, next to maybe Wall of Force and Wish. It's insanely good. It's top 5 for sure. What are Gerald's goals past following the group? What kind of impact do you want to have on Koibu's game? Just want to make people happy. I hope you guys enjoy the show. I do appreciate the positive comments. Occasionally, you guys come into my chat and say hey, that was really great. I get a lot of the show, and that makes me really happy. And also, I appreciate all the follows because I'm a full-time streamer as well. So for you guys to come and support, this is awesome. And I just want you guys to have a good time. That's my only goal on the show. We could have gotten some kind of artifact that makes Gerald more stronger. I don't know. I'd have to think something up. But that 5e really simplified artifacts, right? So there's not much like that. No. Lockman sicko mode on that Banshee. Illusion gets a lot weaker if you're fighting very smart, creative, or very dumb enemies. It's a great meme if you get creative. It can be, yeah. I thought that between casting illusion spells, making rhymes, and then making wizard decisions, it was just too much. Koibu had a session today where he made and recorded a lot of magical items and artifacts. Ooh. Is there any outplay prevention to the Banshee Scream you could have done or possibly done in the future? Nope. Just save or die. People will argue that, but there was literally no way for me to really suspect that there had been one there. I kind of did all my checks, perception, detect magic, tried to figure out if there was anything weird, if it was uninhabited, and so there's just nothing you can do. Why do you think Koibu decided to do save or die? Because he's a fucking savage. Favorite spells that you would like to use? Fly would be fun. I mean, if we could fly ourselves up to the airship, that would be pretty cool. I would love to reach the airship just for lore reasons, before the campaign's over. How cool would that be? Just to get to the airship just for lore reasons. I'd like to use Sending more. That's a fun spell that I finally recently got a hold of. Also, I think a lot of people missed. Gerald got a really interesting spell last session, was it? The Read Memory spell, which is a custom. That's a Koibu homebrew. And Read Memory is a spell that I haven't gotten to use yet, and I can cast it as a ritual. So that's something we could do, and maybe I could kind of read the memory of objects or things. I don't know. There's some kind of cool play that we could do around that. That'd be pretty cool. So we could read memories. How neat would that be? Other spells that would be really fun. There's a lot of them. I'd love to get a successful counterspell off. Those are always really good. Ooh, I also wonder if I could have dispelled magic on the gargoyles and insta-killed them, because it destroys the binding force. And sometimes you could do that depending on the DM's interpretation of Dispel Magic. It is a level 3 spell, which is still hard for us to cast, though. You could have read the memory of the thieves finding sewer entrances easier. Yes. Midori feels really weak compared to the rest of you guys. Just class, or did she mess up her character somehow? I think it's the way that she plays the character. So she's going to choose some spells next session, between this session and next time. And I think you'll see a lot of power increase in her the next time. So Lily, actually Lily so Lily's just had a hard time because Lily, she, from the beginning, she had all of her spells taken away from her for a long time. Was it 3 episodes, it felt like, because she was switching gods? And I think she's such a good sport. She doesn't talk about this much, but she had all of her spells. Cleric spells are no joke. There's a lot of really, really good cleric spells in the game. They're in a lot of ways, they're just as good as wizard spells, especially at 3rd level. There's a lot you can do. And so most of the spells that for Revivify, for example, that's pretty cool. There'd be a lot of times where if bringing someone back from the dead would be pretty neat. That would be something that would make me feel a whole lot more comfortable being around the party. Another really cool thing would be Spirit Guardians. This spell is absolutely freaking crazy. It's like this like spell is like having like spectral race that can take you out on its own. So this would be cool. And my understanding is I don't actually know what's going on, but I think that Koibu is going to give her a list of Death Cleric spells, so the next session she'll have spells to cast. Also, keep in mind that she doesn't have Arcane Recovery, so when she burns a spell slot, that's a long rest to get that back. And I still, to this day, think that there should be like something, like recover one spell on a short rest or something. Like it's just too brutal for clerics. It's so gnarly. Cleric spells are just not good enough to like for that kind of cost. But she's done very well with like, right, she's got Greybane and she's got the charge ability, so she's been very powerful in melee. So the thing about Lily is like Lily is easily going to become the strongest character in the party if she starts getting good spells, because she's going to have all that melee capability. She has like 20 AC? Woo! Like some crazy amount. You see her guiding bolts can sometimes do like 25, 30 damage. And she'll eventually get some like really vicious spells. So if she casts like Spirit Guardians and then runs in there with melee, oh man, that's going to be vicious. I can't wait to see that. That would be really crazy. Lily has the potential to be the strongest person in the party, I think. Arguing for Spirit Guardians being suitable for a Death Cleric? It totally is. Oh, I forgot that she has Spare the Dying. That's so useful too. That's a great spell for this campaign. Who do you think the strongest is right now? Probably Gerald. In terms of, it depends on how you define it. I think wizards just in general are the strongest characters in D&D. Because like when you think about, so it looks like Locke is stronger, but you have to look at like how a fight goes, right? Like Gerald can, if Gerald goes all out, Gerald can lock down everybody in the, wizards are just, we're just talking about classes. We're just like, wizards are just very strong, right? And they get stronger and stronger. Like Hypnotic Pattern, Fireball, these are abilities that can knock out in entire groups of people permanently in fights. But Locke and Barba look a lot better. It's the level 3 spells that really changed with the wizard game, right? Level 2 and 1 are just kind of like, if you remember Gerald in the first like 5-6 episodes, it's kind of just like whatever. Gerald's just like, I cast Fireball, I miss, okay. Like I could have been mapping in Path of Exile and nobody would have noticed. And then all of a sudden it's like you get Fireball and it's like dude, that feel when you get Fireball for the first time as a level 3 wizard. Oh, baby. It's so good. It was all worth it. Do you think there was any meaning to when Koibu said necromancer about the magic the mayor had? Hopefully a Freudian slip. Maybe he's using dead bodies for his ingredients in his food. I don't know. The Fireball in the tomb might have knocked out Midori and Jiro, but it did save the team. Yep, it did. It was really, really cool for people to say that in the beginning. I feel like Midori had a tough game this round, and I just want her, always make sure that you guys tell Lily how much you appreciate her being on the show, because she's a really awesome part of it, and she should always know that. Why Firebolt over TDD? TDD is better damage. It's save or nothing, so that's not good. And Firebolt has different effects. Like what I was gonna do with the Gargoyle is if I cast Firebolt, I was then going to use force damage to do double damage and kill the Gargoyle with the power surge that I had. No, I don't mean a tough game in terms of like bad rolls. I mean like a tough game just like in terms of like RP. Like she had to argue with Steven, and that's tough for anybody to do. I wouldn't want anybody to have to do that. Yeah, like I think the show, like Lily doing the art is amazing. It's like so I watch the stream and I see her abilities, and it's so cool that like her like ability to do that is so amazing, like so crazy. I'm not like that creative at all. Yeah, Lily should always host. I agree. I don't know, man. I've been impressed by Lily since I met her way back in the CLG days, years and years ago. She's just so creative. Her at Albert too, man. Like that guy, like those two like have more skills between them than like I could live like 12 lifetimes. And I would not have like half the skills that I had to do, just like insane stuff that they have. It's actually crazy, from like drawing to like making music to like everything. Always have PoE, that's right, my PoE streams. Koibu is pretty much like the most well-known DM on Twitch, I think, outside of Matt Mercer and Critical Role, which is an awesome show. Where do you think the campaign will go? I hope we get to do a few more episodes. I think the difficulty level of the campaign is kind of insane. And I don't know if I'm like on an island here because like But I really think that it's mostly luck that's like getting us through these fights. So I think a TPK is very likely. Do you think Koibu was warning you about what you mentioned spirits when you were over the tiny hut? Maybe. Do you think there was any kind of way, though, Zenon, to actually tell that there were spirits in the room outside of what we did? Like, I feel like I tried to do everything I could to figure that out. Is there a set number of episodes? No set number of episodes, either, I think, until we TPK or we, like, complete the main objective. The thing is that every episode is crazy, right? Every episode is just nuts. Just the sheer hype of it, because it's so close. Koibu doesn't match difficulty based on the party. Does it like in the real world where it's based on the world that Koibu has? Yeah. It seems like Devin was preparing for what was coming and couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, I don't think there was an action I could have taken that would have changed it. Story-wise, we haven't heard much from Tavington, and we are kind of on a tangent to find a Philosopher's Stone. I don't know if the trip to Fortune is going to actually teach us anything about the next steps of the episode. We didn't see... So, when we opened the door, we didn't see a Banshee. So we were immediately attacked in seconds, and no one would stop to, like, hindsight is like so 2020. No one would have stopped to be like, I checked the room for Banshees. And like, there's a couple of people that tilted me in check because you're like, just plug your ears, lol. Like, plug your ears, forehead. Like, dude, okay. If I was like a telepathic person and I was like, oh, like all I have to do is just like plug my ears, and then like I just detected the Banshee, like. Yeah, so I think there was no way that we could have figured that out. Yeah, I don't know. I think I took every reasonable action. I don't think that plugging your ears works against psychic damage. I'm pretty sure the 5e Banshee ability does. Are you telling me I don't have the spell detect Banshee? So once a day releases a mournful wail provided she isn't in sunlight. No effect on constructs and undead. All other creatures within 30 feet that can hear her must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, a creature drops to 0 hit points. So he just played it right to the book. I just wouldn't use this creature. This is just such a gnarly ability for its level. Like, what CR is this? This is a CR 4? Jesus. Yeah, I would just like not use this. Now, there is one thing we could have done, I think. And this is something we could probably always do, which is like ask, and actually this is something I'm going to write down for the next show. You could like ask around for like information, and then maybe like you learn that there's like that's like how D&D, I think in my like, so I'm a big Shadowrun player. I put a lot of hours into Shadowrun, and Shadowrun is like, if you're gonna like assault like a corporate headquarters, Shadowrun is like, for people that don't know, I won't go off. I love Shadowrun, so I can talk about this for hours, but I won't. Shadowrun is like a world where you, it's like D&D, imagine D&D, but with like magic and technology. So it's like current day. Yeah, a little bit in the future, actually. Cyberpunk 2077 with magic. And, like, Shadowrun is awesome. It's my favorite world ever. In Shadowrun, like, half of the game is, like, preparation and planning. So, like, if you're going to, like, take down, like, a corporate headquarters, like you're going to go, like, to Amazon and try to steal some, like, data or something, there'll be a lot of prep, and you'll learn, like, where the guards are, and you'll learn where the security cameras are and, like, the alarms and stuff, so hopefully we'll be more prepared. We just, like, run into these things completely crazily. We're just like, we go into the, like, maybe there was some way that we could have figured out, like, oh, hey, is there banshees here? Is there dead things here? But I ran through it in my head, and I was like, well, okay, like, it hasn't, I tried to detect illusions. I asked Midori if she had detect undead. She didn't, because I considered that too. I did full perception checks, full detect magic check, rituals everywhere we went. And it's like, at some point, I think the DM just doesn't want to tell you. So you're just screwed. Are you planning to buy wands and scrolls? Well, hell yeah, I'll buy anything that helps the character if we can find it. You already learned there was stuff going down there. No, that was definitely not clear. Again, I think we made a ton of different checks to try to see what was in there and just didn't get the information. So that was all there was to it. You can make scrolls? I don't know. I'll ask Koibu about that. You could have lured Koibu on traveling through walls. Yeah, I tried to be more chill this episode. I didn't want to attract the dogs. The dogs of war. Yeah, let's see. This enemy's nuts. It was pretty crazy. What's the strongest creature you've ever faced in D&D? I think Lolth was the strongest in Greyhawk. We had a Greyhawk was like a connected campaign, so we were connected across like the country to like a bunch of different campaigns, and our party was the party that actually killed the goddess Lolth in 2.5. That was a crazy fight. My wizard was like 22 at the time. Are you available at any other campaigns? Oh heck no, man! This one takes so much time already. Can barely do this one since I'm a full-time broadcaster. I do a morning stream. Well, lately we've been potatoing on Path of Exile for a zillion years. And so I've just played a lot of Path of Exile, but normally I have a schedule. What happened to your wizard? He was a level 23 wizard I played for 4 years, and we legit recorded every point of EXP in the Greyhawk campaigns, which is kind of like pre-Pathfinder, so you would always write down like the EXP that you had. Was in a camp of 500 trolls, ogres, goblins, and all kinds of other stuff on a continent, and had a 18th level Kenzai with him, a 20 first level fighter, a 20 something, maybe a 19th level cleric, and I think a barbarian. The Kenzai was from Oriental Adventures, and then I dropped a rod of power into a campfire and nuked half the continent, and nobody could play on it. And we killed like all 500 of the creatures and all their character sheets, and then our entire party as well for the entirety of the Greyhawk campaign across the United States. The wall hits 30 feet from her. Gerald and Midori were the furthest away. Could you argue that you were further than 30 feet? Yeah, I didn't want to metagame the stuff, so I just took the roll. But yeah, I mean, just for the record, officially, I think it was pretty bullshit. I really do not like that gameplay style. But again, like that's no comment on Koibu. Koibu is an amazing freaking DM, and probably one of the best DMs I've ever played under. Like top 3. Like he's amazing. So no complaints at all. Just don't agree with that play style. I hate Saber Die. I hate using it, and I hate it being used against parties. I think it's super anti-fun. I love the gnomes in the tavern. Yeah, like just the little check. It's like, hey, like because if I go out of the rhymes a little bit, they like immediately get some gnomes appear and kind of wonder if you've got your shit together. And I'm like, hello, fellow chums, don't be glum. You could argue the rules. Koibu enjoys it. Koibu and I love going back and forth on rules. Yes, it's the community that hates it. I'm just tired of every time that I make like a rule check or I like say something. I just got so much negative feedback from doing it that I've just kind of like stopped doing it because I literally just like can't take all the emails and the Discord comments and everything about it. It's just super annoying. So I decided to like kind of take like a back seat to that kind of stuff, even though I like doing that too. Yeah, I think D&D is all about like arguing the rules back and forth, trying to figure out who's right. But you're talking to the same guy in PoE that's like, I'm sitting here at 3 a.m. and I'm like, Contagion is 7% more damage than ED at 4 links versus 3 links, and I get 2.5% more efficient. So it's just like the type of person. I totally get people that don't like that kind of like rule clarification, like rule lawyering back and forth. I think it's part of D&D, but yeah, I want to be like the biggest nerd possible, and if that pisses off absolutely everybody, then okay. That's the recap episode. I really appreciate you guys coming out for the show, and we will be back next week for sure on Wednesday. I will also upload this to the youtube.com/DevinNash, where we have like all of the recap episodes like go up and everything like that. So I'm going to go walk home, and yeah, in the meantime, guys, thanks a lot for coming out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the recap episode, and thank you again for Lily to host the channel. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you guys come back. I stream every day, so it'd mean a lot to me if you did. Thank you very much, guys. That's it.
Walk, little walk, small talk, big thoughts. Gonna tell them all just what I want. That street, 2 streets, I see you and me hanging on the empty swings.